Well, good evening, Ballsville. How y'all doing tonight? Going to be a little bit different show today. Um, I'm all by myself. Um, Looks like some of my co-hosts and guests, they all kind of ditched me. So I'm going to do this one on my own, guys. So be patient. We'll sit back. We'll talk a little bit of football. Been a long day at work for me too. So we're going to get through it, and we're going to talk some football. The show is presented by the BALLSVILLE and sponsored by Premier Properties. I'm your host, Jimbo, as you all know me. Um, I think what we ought to talk about right off the bat is about some of these major injuries we got going on in the NFL. I think that the running back rooms are hurting for certain, with Najee Harris going down, James Conner. And I think the Chargers are in pretty good shape, with Hampton there. Really not sure what they're going to do with what they already have, on their bench. But I'm kind of feeling like they might give Gus Edwards another try. He's a free agent right now, so might be a good fit for him to come back in there and help out. The James Conner thing, good thing that they drafted Benson. Benson's a good back. Connor's been talking Benson up pretty strong. I think he'll do okay there. And, they also got that other kid. What is it? Demery Ricardo. I think he's a pretty good running back. Actually, he runs pretty aggressive, and, they've kept him on the roster. He can definitely back Benson up okay. And then some of these other sneaky guys that are free agents, I got to doing a little thinking. Jamal Williams is available. He's up there in age, but he was a good running back for the Lions and never really got a whole lot of playing time at the Saints. But he's out there free. Raheem Blackshear, younger guy. I thought he did a good job at the Panthers. He's available. I think he'd make a good running back for somebody. And then, of course, Zeke the Geek Elliott, he's out there and available too. So I don't know if some of these guys are going to reach or if they're going to go with their depth and see how they're doing. Mike Evans went down, wide receiver for the Bucks. His nagging every year, beginning of the year, hamstring issue he has every year. With McMillan down and Godwin down and Abuka, who is really not 100%. He played like he was 100% last week. I didn't think he was going to play that much, but he did end up playing, and he did end up having a good game. So, I don't know if Shepard's the guy that's going to step in there. I don't know if Tez is going to get some work, the new rookie. They have depth there. I just, with their offensive line in the shape that it's in, on top of all these other injuries, and Baker is just getting killed every week in out. But he's a tough dude, and he's pulling it out. I think the Bucs will do okay, and they're going to just have to hope Godwin gets back quicker than what they were thinking. I was kind of being told and kind of thinking to week 6, but maybe they rush him back. I don't think he's going to play this week, but and now Terry McLaurin, Commanders, he's hurt. Got a quad injury, I think I read. So I don't really know. Lane got a few snaps over there, and of course Debo's there. I think Noah Brown's still hurt, so I'm not really sure what they're going to do there. And then their quarterback, I haven't really heard much on Daniels, if he's going to be back this week yet or not. But it does look like we are going to get a quarterback change this coming week. It looks like Jackson Dart is going to get his chance, and I'm all for that. I think the kid's ready. I think he'll be able to handle, stepping in, get him some good quality snaps. He's going to be playing up against Sarah's Chargers, I believe, on Sunday. And I look for the kid to have a good day. So I definitely think that puts Dayball on the hot seat a little quicker than what we thought. I think he's gone regardless of what Dart does. I don't think that he's long for the Giants, and I think most Giants fans probably would welcome that. But some other coaches that they've been talking about, McDaniels, they've been talking about him for weeks being on the hot seat. Canales, the Panthers head coach, he's on the hot seat. Stefanski at Cleveland, and of course, Mike Tomlin. Now the Steelers don't really go through coaches that often. I think it's time. I think Mike Tomlin's run his course there. I think they're way too defensive-minded of a football team, and their defense really is not that great. I mean, Ben Roethlisberger went on the air in his podcast this week already and said that the defense is not unique. In the past, it's always been unique with Polamalu and all them guys running around. He said he wants to see Ramsey do a little bit more blitzing and a little bit more exotic type defenses, but I don't think defense is really their biggest problem right now. I think it's the head coach. I think they just live in the past. They coach in the past, and I'd like to see the Steelers, freshen it up. Wouldn't hurt my feelings to see Mike Tomlin go. I like the guy. I just don't think he's there to keep going. The waiver wire is not all that great. There's not a whole lot of guys out there to be picking up on the waiver wire right now. I was just looking to see, some things that would happen. I was pretty surprised, you guys that got McNichols last week for the Commanders. He had a hell of a game. He played a good game. I know everybody was thinking the rookie was going to get the majority of the carries, but I think they kind of split that up out there with the Commanders, and McNichols did a pretty good job. And then, of course, Rodriguez is there. But I do think that Austin Eckler's days are over. I don't think he'll come back after this injury. He's getting up there in age, and he's been pretty injury prone all along anyway. So I don't really look for him to come back. I think the rookie is probably their future, and we'll see how they do in getting McDaniels back. But it's been a weird year, I think, with all the injuries. It's really going to shake up the fantasy thing. And the ones that are really going to be fun to watch are the gauntlet leagues, guys. I think they're going to be fascinating because with a lot of these big name guys out, CD Lamb's out now too. After I had a whole lot of stock in Tolbert all last year and in my dynasties. And he's not that bad a receiver. He did okay on an off day or a bye for somebody, but I did a bunch of dropping him, and now I wish I'd have kind of kept him. But I think these bye weeks are going to really hurt even more than usual with all the injuries. It looks like the running back rooms are going to, if you did good in your drafting and you were fortunate enough to take 3 in a row, then you'll probably be okay running back wise, which means you probably missed out on the big name wide receivers anyways. So, if you ended up having some pretty average wide receivers and you had a good tight end, you might be okay. It's going to be interesting to see what the guillotine part of the gauntlet looks like in, 9 and 10. I think it's going to get interesting. So we'll see where all that goes. But it's my redrafts. I don't know about y'all. I didn't do that great with redraft this year. I've never been a big redraft guy anyway, but I didn't draft well in redraft. I did pretty good in the gauntlet. I got a couple good leagues. I got a couple bad ones, but with the median, it's kind of hard to figure out how that's all going to go too. But speaking of the gauntlet, Alex said last night, I don't know if you guys caught his show, but we are planning to move the gauntlet recap from Monday and add that to the Tuesday night show. And Alex is going to come in a little bit in the beginning and kind of help recap that. We're going to get another guy in here to kind of help with that. So we're going to move that to the Tuesday night show. There's some more announcements coming on how we're going to handle the rest of the week with the rest of the shows. Alex is kind of changing things up. He's gotten busy at work. And excuse me, I had to take a drink. I got a dip in. And I just put it in, so I had to kind of get my throat wet down with something to drink. But if I seem a little out of it, guys, tonight, I guess I am. I'm a little let down with the folks that were supposed to be on a show tonight. I was going to ask someone else to join me tonight after I knew the other two guys weren't going to be here. It kind of threw a wrench in the show. But I had an old football coach that used to tell me in high school, excuses are for losers. And I don't have an excuse tonight on why these guys aren't here. I really don't. But I don't really give a shit, to be honest with you. It's hard to do a show like this for a rookie like me. I know enough about football. I could sit here and talk football all night long. It's very different doing a show by yourself and not having someone to bounce things off from, get their opinions. So everything's kind of a one-sided thing. I feel like I'm talking to my dog Puka over here, which isn't too bad. I talk to her a lot when I'm watching football. So if I had a game on, I'd probably be a little bit more at home. But I'm going to go to chat. And maybe we can try to do that. I see Sorry for Cussins out there. Chris, thanks for being out there. Alex, the president's out there tonight. Who else is in there? Francis is in there tonight. My wife's in there. She's working tonight. And she'll be out all night long. So she made the show. Luke Hager, he's out there. And I appreciate you coming on and listening. Sarah, she made the show. And so I appreciate you guys being out there. You guys throw something in there that you want to talk about and just pretend you're my co-host tonight or a guest. And I see Cyborg's out there too. So I appreciate everybody getting into the chat. It's hard to, look at you guys, look at the phone. I've been building a new studio in my house to try to get more techie. For a 58-year-old guy, it's hard to do. So, but it's coming along. I got a new split screen. My wife went out and got me a 32-inch split screen. That's helping a lot. I got my iPad over here, got my phone over there. So trying to get good at doing this so I can put out a product that represents Ballsville and brings you guys something to listen to during the week. And I got to thinking today, I was listening. I listened to a local radio show here in Tampa, and they also have Colin Hurd on. They have Dan Patrick on. And I listened to some of them guys, and it was kind of neat today. Dan Patrick's guys said to him, they said, that there's so many new podcasts out there, so many radio shows, and all these guys are running out of things to talk about. He said, man, he goes, used to be, you were so excited about when you heard a name of somebody that didn't do a whole lot of interviews coming on somebody's show, and you were so excited to hear him. And one of Dan Patrick's guys that works in the background on his show spoke up, and he said, I think you guys got it all wrong. He goes, Dan, I think it's you. He goes, your ability to interview people and ask the right questions to people is why these folks tune into your show. It isn't so much the guests you have, it's how you interview them and what the questions that you answer, get them to answer the hard questions and you have enough respect to where people, open up to you. And he says, so I think you guys got it all wrong. And I kind of thought about that for a minute. And I thought, it's kind of true. When you have respect and you've been in the business for a long time and guys come on your show, I think it's kind of reverse. Even though they're kind of the famous one, they're the athlete, I think sometimes they really like to be interviewed by a guy like Dan Patrick. He's a pretty good interviewer. He has a lot of cool guests on his show. I'm working at getting my media pass in Florida, which is going to open up a lot of avenues. I haven't really gone. A whole lot of people don't know this because I'm so scared to death to do it. But I do have an interview with John Gruden on Thursday. And it's part of the classroom part of getting your journalism license for media in Tampa, that you have to do. They place you in an interview, and then you have to do a 3-paragraph journalism report on that interview. And it's part of the classroom work to passing the classes to get your media license. So I'm looking forward to that. I think it's going to kind of be cool. And so I'm hoping that it allows me to get into some of these places. It's just the Tampa-based team. So it's the Bucks, it's the hockey team, the Lightning, and the Tampa Bay Rays, which just got bought out. They have new owners now, so that's exciting in the Tampa area for us.
Foul on the play, flag on the play, no baseball talk.
Yeah, but I guess the point I was trying to make is by getting that pass, it's going to allow me to actually go to a game and be in the press room when they do their interviews after the game, and I'll be able to ask questions. So some of those questions I'll be able to bring back to Ballsville. I'm excited about that. So that's another thing that I've been working on that's taken up a lot of my time because I'm not a real good student. I'm not, I didn't graduate high school, so I don't study well. I don't do well with computers, but I'm learning. It's a challenge and it's fun.
But your football. Jimmy knows his football, and that's the important
part. Well, I didn't catch that XX cross over on JoJo last night. I was so excited. I thought I was going to snag Mbuka from him. Boy, I was ready to take it.
That was hilarious. For those of you that don't know what he's talking about, go and watch the end of the Gauntlet recap last night. It was a good time. So,
well, thanks for coming on, Alex. You didn't have to do that. I appreciate you doing it, though.
Oh, man. I know what it's like, Jim. I know what it's like when you're just doing a monologue and you get caught up with the little this and that's of it. So
when I was out in Vegas, I was talking to Scott a little bit about that. And, we had kind of mentioned what it's like to do a show by yourself. And I said, man, that's got to be kind of strange. I mean, you got to pick something to talk about that you like to talk about. And then you got to make sure that it's something everybody wants to listen to, or they're just going to tune in and tune out. And you really don't get the banner going back and forth with a co-host or a guest. But anyways,
production side is hard.
I wanted to push through it because it's important to me. I hope you guys enjoy these shows that we do. We work really hard at Ballsville to bring you these shows. And if you don't put a lot of time into your prep of, whether it's studying or whether it's picking a good topic to talk about. But I was going to talk a little bit about offensive lines tonight because I think a lot of these injuries, these major injuries that are going on, the Chargers have a good offensive line. Indianapolis has a good offensive line. They're solid. They haven't really experienced any injuries. I did see Pierce popped up on the injury report, but guys like Dallas, they rely so much on CeeDee Lamb. It's going to be interesting to see, if Williams can keep up the pace at running back and to see if Pickens can. This is Pickens' chance to shine. Is he capable of being a number one? What do you think about that, Alex? Do you think Pickens is capable of being a number one?
Well, we saw him as the number one in Pittsburgh for a while. He didn't really excel, but he held his own. He's a gritty player. I think he's got some help with Ferguson. What did he get? Like 12 targets, 12 target
Yeah.
Ferguson.
That's
So
what I'm saying. It's going to be interesting to see how these fantasy players at Ballsville manipulate and make the choices. It makes the choices so much more challenging of who you're going to play, who you're not going to play. So it's just like me. I didn't really think Mbuka was going to get a whole lot of playing time. I benched him in half of my leagues. I played guys like Wandell Robinson over him. I played a lot of different receivers over him. I even played Damian Brown over him. Damian Brown ended up, or Diami, for the Jags. He ended up getting hurt this week too. And, Hunter really hasn't produced. I see Burden finally had a day. So that's good to see for Chicago. I think Caleb had a great game. That's good for them up there. But it's going to be crazy on who you choose to fill the shoes of some of these guys that are hurt and then wondering when they're coming back. And so what do you do long term,
So one of the things that actually happened today, speaking of the Cowboys, Ferguson, somebody was looking for a tight end, and I went to go offer them a backup tight end because I had Dalton Kincaid, and I noticed, oh wow, I have Ferguson in this league, and I was like, well, maybe I'll offer Kincaid and keep Ferguson. Well, who would you rather have for the rest of the season?
I had so much stock in Schultz before he left Dallas. So I kind of got burned out on the Dallas thing. And I don't really care for Dak. So I went Kincaid last year kind of heavy. So I have a lot of stock in Kincaid, especially in my dynasty leagues. And I also had, my gut feeling, my hot take feeling that's deep down inside of me that Kincaid was going to bust out this year. I really didn't think that the Bills had, great wide receiver room. So I thought the ceiling on Kincaid was high. So I did a lot of drafting. So I'm still going to go ahead and stay with Kincaid long term for the year. However, Ferguson, Dak likes throwing to Ferguson. So,
I think he's the tight end too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's I wouldn't be worried about having, Ferguson on my roster at all. I mean, especially with, go ahead,
Jim. I'm gonna give you a few hot topics here from the coming in from the comments.
Okay.
All right. Trey Tucker. Where the hell did that 3-touchdown game we come from?
I'm going to go. Okay. I'll tell you why I did that. Okay. I loved Trey Tucker last year. I thought he was going to be a breakout kid. I'll bet you every single dynasty league I have Trey Tucker. So when I got Trey Tucker given to me as an early Christmas gift last week by Sorry for Cussing in our Pirate League, I thought to myself, okay, Jacoby's there. Jacoby's been hitting it. And you got Jenny there in the passing game. You got Bowers there. I just don't need Trey Tucker on my team. And so I just thought, Booty was – I think I dropped Trey Tucker and picked up Booty. And I just kind of felt that Drake May was searching for – a comfort zone. And I just kind of had a feeling by looking at some of the scoring that Booty was going to be that dude. So I went ahead and grabbed Booty and dropped Tucker. And Tucker went off. That's typical.
I understand that because Hunter Henry was pretty weak to start the season.
And then he goes off. So, that's fantasy.
Exactly.
That's fantasy. But if you're
the
asking,
edge of heartache.
If you're asking me, do I think Trey Tucker, he's a small guy.
So do you think he's for real though? So
yeah, I'm going to say he's for real. I'm going to say he's for real because I drafted the hell out of him, last year, just waiting for him to go off. So I believe in the kid. now that he's got a quarterback like he's got that knows how to see the field, I think, with O'Connell and
Minshew.
even
Yeah, that's what I was going to
Carr,
say.
even with O'Connell and even with Carr, those guys really don't look at the field. They look at a player downfield and they just make a decision, where I think Geno knows where that kid's going to be. And so I think he stands a pretty good chance of flourishing with Geno Smith being his quarterback.
Excellent point. Excellent point. Okay, so here's another one. This is something that we talked about last week, or after week one on the recap. Ladd McConkey, wide receiver 3 on the Chargers. Want to talk about it?
The thing is, I think what's going on with Justin Herbert is he wants reliability, and Allen is such a great vet and a great route runner. In the jump ball, I think, is why Allen wins in Justin's mind of throwing him the football. I think Justin knows he can throw it outside the numbers on the sidelines. He can throw it up. He knows the contested catch. Allen's going to win those contested catches 9 times out of 10. And McConkey's across the middle, Edelman type guy. And running that slot, I just don't think Herbert is going to spend the time waiting for him to come across. I think he'd rather throw the ball downfield. So I think that's why
it seems like that offense is designed to take advantage of every yard, it seems like. And so you're talking about a fully opened offense, and any other team, that slot receiver is the guy you want to target. But with the Chargers and Herbert's accuracy downfield, it's working out.
Even with Quentin's there too, and I think he's a great receiver. He reminds me a little bit of a big guy, kind of like a Keenan Allen or even a Mike Williams. I just think he's got the structure, the body makeup of a bigger wide receiver. I think McConkey is just going to be that guy that they count on for short yardage. They count on a quick throw. He's quick. He can get open, and they can get that 5, 6, 7-yard third down with him. But as far as the touchdown throws in the back of the end zone, the long throws, I just don't think McConkey's going to be in that makeup. So I don't think he sees number 1.
So here's a fun one. How about order them and how they're going to end the season? Who do you think should be 1, 2, and 3?
Who?
All 3 of the Chargers receivers.
If Keenan Allen can stay healthy, which he won't, I think Johnson ends up probably scoring more fantasy points than McConkey. So I'm going to say Johnson, Allen, McConkey.
I'll go Johnson, McConkey, Allen. I think it's going to slow down for Keenan. I have this theory about these older wide receivers and how they start the season hot. And then now's the time to sell Keenan because they're older and their bodies start to, get weary at the end of the season. And that's when you see a drop off in their production. So I think to end the season, it'll be McConkey at the 2. But I said this earlier. I think that Quentin Johnson has the tools to do some of what McConkey does, but McConkey doesn't have the tools to do what Quentin does. And I think that's the difference right there.
Yeah, I think they'll be okay. Jim Harbaugh's a brilliant coach. I think they're going to still want to run the ball. I think he's smart enough to know he's not going to be able to wear Hampton out day in and day out all year. I look for them to go get a veteran running back. I think it will happen sooner than later. Now, here's a really tricky thought. If you've noticed, the guy that carried the Broncos all last year, McLaughlin, running back, McLaughlin. What is it? Jalen?
Yeah, Jalen McLaughlin.
Right.
Sarah McLaughlin, something
now,
like that.
Ever since that running back room got crowded, and he kind of had a little bit of a nagging injury, but he's been healthy scratch for all of the beginning of the year. I think they're going to trade that kid. I think he's going to get traded. He's a good running back. And I don't think they'd be stupid enough to trade him to the Chargers, but how ironic would that be from a coaching standpoint where Jim Harbaugh says, hey, let's get this kid over here and find a little bit out about the Broncos. So I don't know, but I think they're definitely gonna pick up a veteran running back. They're not gonna go.
Well, I think that they're gonna roll with Hampton moving forward. I mean, he looks amazing back there. Some of his blocking,
yeah, but they're not gonna sit those other young guys on their bench when they know they're a playoff team. He's not going to go into the playoffs without a veteran running back. I just don't see it.
Yeah, they have too much to risk.
Yeah,
I agree.
So, so is it going to be a trade of an active player? I don't think so. I really think they'll probably go back after Gus Edwards. I mean, Roman really liked Gus Edwards at the Ravens. I was surprised to see him go. I was surprised to see them offload him. I just don't think Haskins is the answer in the Chargers backfield going forward to be a backup. I mean, he's an okay backup running back, but not to get ready for playoff football. So I think they will go for a veteran, and I think it'll happen sooner than later.
Cool.
Yeah, and then this coaching thing. How do you feel about Daboll? Do you really think he's done out there, like, no matter what they do with this quarterback change, or do you think that he's making this change right now knowing that this is his last hope he's doing it early enough to try to make the playoff?
It's definitely a Hail Mary here because they looked horrible. And to put that kind of stock into Russell Wilson, who's looked horrible for the past 2 years, I think he's allowed like 2 good games a year. And he's used one of them. They don't want to wait for the other one. So, they announced officially, right, that they're in Darden at starter or no?
Yeah, Dart's going to start.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah,
they already named Dart.
I think it's a premature.
He's going to start. So I like Dart. I picked him up in a lot of my DB leagues. I picked him up in a lot of my drafts in Ballsville. So I'm kind of excited to see him play. I was a little let down with Trey Harris from Ole Miss, not really panning out. We were talking about their receivers, and we didn't even mention Trey Harris, and rightfully so. He's not doing shit. So
I don't even think he's the 4 there.
No, not right now. And I'm really, really surprised about that. And so anyways, what'd you think about some of these games that were played? How'd you like this comeback from the Lions? That's kind of why I put the Lions background up. I was kind of proud to see them come in and put a hurting on the Ravens.
Oh man. I gotta say these night games. So I wake up at 3:30 in the morning, 3, and then I snooze for a half hour. These night games are too damn good, man. They keep me awake all night, and I'm just glued. And we've been so blessed. Football is so back.
That was a very, very cool game to watch. And I was excited for the Lions, so that's kind of why I put the backdrop up to the Lions, being from Michigan and everything. Even though I'm a Raiders/Bucks fan, but. I thought that they would throw the ball to win that game, and they really didn't need to. I cannot believe that they ran over them like that. I just cannot believe it.
So the Ravens defense is respectable, but when you go and you look at the numbers, they're giving up a lot, but that's only because they're scoring a lot, and that defense is out there so much.
Colin Hurd on his show today said the Ravens defense is just as bad as the Cowboys. The only difference is they don't have a star on their helmet.
Oh man, I don't know if they're as bad. I think they're overexposed is what it is. They're workhorses. They do the work there, and if they don't hold up, then it's going to be a shootout. And
they put so much stock in their back, their back line, their cornerbacks and their safeties. They got awesome guys back there. But for some reason, they just aren't getting to the quarterback.
I couldn't believe Marlon Humphreys was able to chase down David Montgomery like that. After 72 yards, he did not give up, and that was a hell of a run.
Chris is asking in chat, he's saying, do you think Mixon is going to come back this year?
Probably just in time.
What really gets me is there's really been nothing public about the true injury that he's experiencing. So that's what's really got me. What is the injury? And why isn't it must be pretty bad. I don't know. Did he get any surgeries? I don't think he got any surgeries. So
yeah, you're right. Come to think of it, I haven't heard anything about any specifics.
So if they're just hoping it's going to get better, that tells me that it's an injury that could very much reoccur. So does Mixon make it back? I don't think he needs to from a standpoint from the Houston side of things.
No.
Chubb's not doing too bad, and Woody Marks, I think, is going to be the future of that team anyways. He did get some snaps this week, and he did play. And, that's the other thing in fantasy that we're all going to be experiencing with these injuries is even the folks that we do pick up and we do get, they're not going to score us a whole lot of points right now till the teams decide whether they're going to play them and actually put them in their schemes week in and week out. So we're going to be experiencing these 5, 6, 7 numbers for points from some of these fill-ins, either the rookies or the backups. So it's really going to tighten up the scoring. So, I got to looking at some of the leagues where I'm behind in, where I've lost some games, but I haven't really been, hit by the bug of the injury bug that bad. I mean, I did with some of my Bucks stuff players, but and I did
I have a lot of Godwin.
Yeah, and I did have quite a lot of stock in Najee, but I just think it's gonna even it up. A lot of the drafts I was in, I didn't, I went quarterback heavy in most all my drafts. So, the quarterback losses that we've had really haven't affected me.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. I've been pretty fortunate on the injury front. I've lost a couple players. Like I had Mike Evans one place and stuff like that. I lost a lot of Kittle, but I have a lot of Rashee Rice. I have a lot of Xavier Worthy. That was horrible week 1, but you got him like pretty late in drafts to where it didn't sink your team. And I'll be getting him back, Godwin back, Kittle back, and Rashee Rice back at some point. So I think if you're 0-3 or if you're hurting out there, don't quite throw in the towel yet. The help is on the way if you have any of these players.
Yeah.
So
it's an interesting excited year. About it. The gauntlet thing is going to be exciting to bring to the show starting next week. I'm going to have fun with that. I'm going to dig into that a little bit. So the pirate thing has been really exciting. The pilot that we're running. Now, let me ask you a question, Alex, since you're on here about these 2 pirate leagues. Are you trying to decide which one we're going to use, or are we doing the 2 different ones just to try them out, or what?
So the one titled Balls de Luffy, I have no control over that. I'm just a spectator in that. I'm watching to see how it goes, and at the same time, it's allowing Ballsville players a free opportunity to get their feet wet, test out Pirate, check out that format. And then in the Brass Balls is something a little bit more structured, where we had somebody in Sticky Picky who has done Pirate Leagues before, who was able to give some advice. He gave us his bylaws, and we kind of amended them and made them to fit our game. And that's going to be the main format that we use going forward. But you're actually playing in both of them. I mean,
yeah.
Tell me what you think about the differences.
It's confusing at first to me because I kept, okay, I ain't got to worry about my bench in this one. Okay, this is locked. Okay, I can use the cross guy on this, and you can only pick from each other's, flex on this one, but the other one, you can, give him a bench player, and you get, so just getting it worked out. I actually like the one with the skulls on it. I think better the crossbone lock versus locking 2 players and letting them sit there all year. If you could change change the lock, let's say even if you could just change one of the locks weekly, would be nice. Because see, I locked Jaden Daniels and I locked James Cook. Okay, so with Daniels going down to my bench, he's already safe.
Yeah,
because there's no IR.
So yeah, so you're just missing the spot.
Right. Well, I missed a lock. You see what I'm saying? So
yep,
I missed a locked player on where I could have used that lock. So maybe if your guy does get hurt and he's down on the bench and becomes a bench player because of that, maybe that lock should be able to come off and be used. Because see, I'm probably going to lose McBride because of it. I lost this week, and Daniels is on my bench with a lock on him. I only got James Cook at a lock, so I was exposed big time, and I'm probably going to lose McBride over that, where I could have took that lock, because it's really not doing me any good with the bench. He's already safe.
In our other one, in our brass balls, I lost to Zubikis this week by like 3 or 4 points, and he had Zay Flowers, and I almost had a miracle there. He started off with like a like 0.15 lead, and I was like, Zay Flowers loses any yardage and we're golden. But
so the one that I had with JoJo that I got all excited thinking I'm getting Mbuka, and then Chris reminds me last night and rains on my little parade. So I'm looking at who I want next, and he's got Montgomery there. And I look up at the score, and I mean, I'm killing him, but then all of a sudden Montgomery knocks off that 72-yard run, and I'm like, damn, I might lose this thing. But no, he didn't catch me. But so, I mean, I got Montgomery instead of Mbuka, which I need another running back anyway. So it was kind of cool. I really, really like those leagues. So you are going to institute adding one of those styles.
Yeah, we're probably going to adopt the pirate version for the gauntlet. There's some ideas that I have, and when we have a moment as managers, we're probably going to get together and discuss some of this stuff. So the format we're using in brass balls is going to be at least introduced into a portion of what the gauntlet will be next year. Who's to say if it's all the leagues are like that, or if it's a portion of the leagues have the pirate portion have the redraft, something like that. But everybody that's taking part in our managers for this year will have a say-so and an opportunity to kind of interject their own little, seasoning onto what we're going to be rolling out next year for the gauntlets.
If I really would have thought about it, I would have put these two kids in as my guest and my co-host tonight. I was sitting here so bummed out that the guys didn't show up. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to put these guys down there, and I'm going to add them. I'm going to put them in and let them do the show with me, these two guys.
Hey, I got somebody at the door, Jimmy. I'll be right back.
Hey, that's fine. All righty, guys. If there's anybody else in chat that wants to – and I got another announcement too, guys. This is really cool. Alex and I have been talking about this. We are going to expedite – they've talked about for a while now that we're going to get our merch going for the Ballsville shirts, Ballsville cups, Ballsville hats. Alex has put it together to where he's going to allow me to get that started for him and for you guys. So my wife is going to be taking it over. She's going to get everything all set up. She's going to do all the shipping, the packaging, taking your guys' messages, taking your orders. And so we're going to get the printing done. We're going to so any type of merch ideas that you guys have, get them out there. Once we get my wife, Lisa, involved, you guys will be able to contact her, and we'll get an order form put together, get it put on the website. But we are going to put the pedal down and get serious about our merchandising as this season goes on. I'm hoping that we can get it up and running before playoffs is my goal. So I'm excited about that with Alex his talent, of his artistical stuff. I think it's going to make for some really cool t-shirts. So any ideas that you want to see first, let me know. If you want to get into doing any type of specialty type orders, let me know. Like if you want your name on something, we'll have a place for that. And we'll get a spot on the website to where you guys will be able to start ordering merchandise. That is right around the corner. So that's something I'm excited about. And we're going to get that up and going. And then, like I said, the DV thing is going to start up, but the merchandising thing that's getting ready to happen, that's going to be fun. So I'm excited about that. Lisa's getting involved in that. She's going to be doing all the ordering. And so we're going to push through with that and get some stuff coming to you. Hopefully we can get some stuff out before playoff time, Alex.
Yeah, I would put the Ballsville logo on a hat like this. That'd be pretty tight.
Yep, it's going to happen. So we just got to decide what our first wave of merch is going to be. And then Lisa will get everything set up. We'll have to get a spot set up on the website for guys to make their orders, and we'll get all that going. But I was just excited that that's getting ready to happen.
Maybe we'll pick out like a handful of images that we like, and we'll throw them up for a vote or something in the Discord.
Yeah, we can do that too. So I don't think we have any. We don't have any orphans, right, Alex? Do we have any Dynasty orphans, or
no?
Connor and JoJo?
Well, we did have last week. We had somebody who got upset, and they changed their team name to "I'm not in this league" because that's the mature thing to do. And so I talked to them, and they said, you know what, I don't feel like I belong in this league. They kind of outed themselves, and they were kind of hit with the shame stick. So they decided to leave.
Did we fill it already?
Yeah, we filled it right away. So it's no longer an orphan. Orphans don't really last long, thankfully.
And now I had a few friends asking that are in the Dynasty world, Alex, I'll pick your brain a little bit. Are we going to do another expansion this year with Dynasty or no?
So on the spot, the original idea is the way that we have the Dragons of Dynasty, and then we expanded 16 more leagues and came out with the Heroes of Dynasty. Instead of expanding onto those and making it 20 leagues per whatever, I think we should ultimately just commit to a whole new game of Dynasty, and maybe do like the Beasts of Dynasty, or we could do like the Wizards of Dynasty, or we'll decide. But I think we should do a full expansion again in 2026. I think it'll be fun.
That sounds good. So there's a lot of things getting ready to happen, you guys, in Ballsville in the offseason. I hate to talk about offseason already. We're just getting going with playing football, but always know that our wheels are turning in the background. We want to stay fresh. We want to stay current, and we want to do things that you guys want. So that's why in Discord, guys, use those channels that are in Discord. Whatever it may be, even if it's just the chat room is taken off. We have a lot of regulars in there. We talk a lot of different types of stuff in there. It's a place where you can let your hair down and kind of really get off the chain conversations going on. So that way you're not burning up your chat room in the leagues where guys don't want to hear it. So make sure, if you're not signed up with the Discord channel, you guys hit the website, grab that. If I had it as a slide, I would put it up. I don't. But you can find it on our website, theballsvillegame.com, and you can find all the things that are going on in there. Don't forget about Sticky's deal. When's the cutoff on the Sticky tools, Alex?
So that's a great question. It was supposed to be over last weekend, but like you mentioned earlier in the show, I've been really swamped at work, and then there's just a lot of moving parts going on. So we'll get it implemented when we can. But I mean, we're in no real rush. The scoreboards are going to stay open. If you haven't checked those out on the website, definitely go take advantage of those. Those will stay open all year. What's going to be behind the paywall is going to be the actual tools that are provided there. You can go check those out now before it's implemented. And Joey's DFS content, and eventually we're going to have Connor's player values for Dynasty. Connor's really good at trading, and he shares his expertise. If you got a chance to check out the Dynasty Handbook, it'll be a similar format to that. Really good information to help you dominate. So that's the goal, is make something
the
worth
Dynastyville shows, are they back up and running, or will that are those guys doing their podcasts on Friday?
So that's a really good question. I just got clarity on that too. So the delay on that originally was illness, and now happily the delay is because one of our friends got a promotion and was given more responsibility, which is unfortunate for us, but we do celebrate that for Connor. Congratulations on your promotion. And we always take, life events come first, family comes first, all that stuff. This is our favorite hobby, our favorite pastime, and we're here whenever you're available. So we try not to force people to do things, but I definitely can't wait for the next Dynastyville. I told him today, I said, man, I'm on edge because those are great episodes.
Yeah. And next week's show, guys, I've got kind of a little special thing we're going to do that's going to kind of give you guys, I know a lot of you guys do daily fantasy stuff. Got some guys going to come on and talk about some of the things they've been doing and some of the good luck they've been having and some of the strategies they've been using to win some money. So, tune in next week for that. I'm going to have a couple guys on talking about that for a short period. I'm hoping Jay will be back. Jay ended up getting tied up in a business meeting, and he's texted me now saying that he wasn't able to make it because of a business meeting. So we all got to work, and just know that all these shows, guys, we do put in the time, and we do want to try to be here for you every week. So I can tell you this, that I'd have to be laying in a hospital bed not to be here on my show on a Tuesday night. So I'll be here every Tuesday night at 8:30. You guys make sure tomorrow, let's see what we got going on tomorrow. Okay, Sarah in the soundboard will be on tomorrow. I saw a little plug somewhere. I think it was in Discord. And if I could pull it up real fast, which I can't get to it fast, she said something about rocking our world, Alex. What's going on with Rock My World, she said.
Well, as much as I'd like to disclose that, we're gonna leave it there. It's gonna be a little teaser. You guys are gonna have to tune in tomorrow night. We do have a little announcement to make. We've kind of hinted at it.
Okay.
But it'll be a good time. We're gonna have fun going forward. It's going to be a little more laxed on our end to where we're not so buttoned up and uptight when we come on air. And it's going to allow us to just kind of, be here for each other, bounce things off of each other. Just like tonight, me, you, and guests, or you, Ethan, guests, stuff like that. It's stay tuned for tomorrow night. Don't miss the soundboard.
All right, guys, make sure and like and subscribe to these podcasts. It does help us out a little bit. Make sure, and if you know a guy in a different league that it's a non-Ballsville league, invite them to come to a podcast, have them come and check us out. Drop our website in those leagues and let them know what Ballsville's about. We got a lot of unique stuff going on. So, I guess we'll just leave it at that. And I'm going to go ahead and say, Alex, I'm going to thank you for jumping on tonight. You made it so it wasn't so grim for me, because I was so bummed. I know it, and I know it was showing, but it's just I love this so much, and I love doing it, and I love all the guys. So I felt a little down because both of the guys had great big segments of their own this week. So my content was going to be very little. And so it just was bad timing. But I appreciate everybody showing up in chat that did show up in chat. And make sure you guys check out Sarah tomorrow. And we'll go ahead and sign out. I'm out. Y'all be cool.